The fallout after al-Baghdadi's death, the leader of ISIS, continues. President Trump just can't do anything right. But in spite of everything, Joe Biden is losing numbers in the polls against President Trump. This is hysterical. I'm going to talk to you about some things that you can do to have an impact. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance. Voter suppression. Hello, friend. We have an election coming up. I still can't believe it's more than a year away, and I'm already tired of talking about it. I cannot imagine how many other people are tired about it, but we have to at least kind of stay abreast. I'm going to get to some other stuff. But the phrase voter suppression, you need to learn it, and you need to practice it. Tomorrow night, I will be, or all day tomorrow actually, I will be in Tupelo, Mississippi, God willing. We will be at the President Trump rally with our 37-foot motor coach, which has almost 70 linear feet of banners with Bible verses, faces of Democrat candidates, and images of aborted babies. We will be there to show support for President Trump. And you might think, well, Randall, most of these people who support President Trump, they're already pro-life. Why are you going? It's really simple. Voter suppression. What do you mean? Oh, let me explain. When we take this coach into a city, to a political rally, friends and enemies alike take pictures. Lots of pictures. And then they send those pictures to friends. They post those pictures online. News outlets all over the country have been running pictures of this motor coach. And the message is really clear. Christians don't vote for a child killer. Period. It is a sin against innocent blood to knowingly help somebody get into office who has pledged to shed innocent blood. So what's this got to do with voter suppression? Let's say we go to the Trump rally and 262 people take pictures of the coach and then post them on their social media platform. Those 262 photographs are going to be seen by thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people. If any major news outlets cover the coach, then we're talking tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of people. And those people, whether thousands or millions, they're taking in the message that it is a sin against innocent blood to vote for a baby killer. Now, according to the polling data, 74% of Americans are baptized Christians. But another poll shows 41% of Protestants, 24% of evangelicals, 54% of Roman Catholics say they will not vote for President Trump under any circumstances. Now, President Trump has committed to appoint judges to overturn Roe versus Wade, okay, to end the killing of babies, to stop the shedding of innocent blood. The Democrats, to the man, to the woman, have all said that they will continue the shedding of innocent blood. They will have a litmus test. They will only appoint judges who support the killing of babies. We call it abortion, euphemistically. So many Christians, and when I say many, I mean tens of millions of church-going Americans, intend to not vote for President Trump. By extension, you would think that means they intend to vote for whoever the Democrat candidate is. My prayer, my hope, and this is where voter suppression comes in, is that if we can't convert these people to stand with the president, just for the sake of the babies, just for the sake of unborn babies. See, we have no economic benefit. Doesn't affect our jobs, doesn't affect our Social Security, government giveaways, tax breaks, nothing. Because it's not about us, it's about the babies. And if those millions of people, for that reason, I'm supporting Trump. And if millions of people see the images of this coach, and some of them, just a small percentage of them, on election day don't vote for a Democrat. Maybe they won't vote for President Trump. Maybe they just say, I can't do it. I can't vote for President Trump no matter what. But they also say, for the sake of the babies, for the sake of my conscience, I will not help someone who believes in the murder of babies get into office. And they don't vote, at least not in the presidential election. That's voter suppression. We have suppressed the vote for a baby killer. And do you think that I feel good about voter suppression when it comes to baby killers? You bet I do. Do I think it's ethical? Do I think it's democratic? Yes, without question. If the babies had a voice, if the babies had a vote, what do you think that they would say to my plan? I'll be right back. Don't go away. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. For the beginner or price-conscious buyer, there's Michael Kelly guitars. For the serious player or professional, Roxy Guitar has the finest selection of guitar lines I've ever seen. You know I love Warrior guitars. Roxy Guitar has over 100 Warriors in stock. They have Heritage, G&L, Gretsch, John Sears, BC Rich, Duesenberg, Dean, legendary guitars at great prices, including pre-owned Gibsons, Fenders, and more. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com. Former Vice President Joe Biden, he's on the ropes whether anyone wants to admit it. Now, you've got Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren who are trying frantically to drag the Democrat Party to the left of Venezuela, literally, without exaggeration, okay? These people are crazy, they're sinister, they're child-killing, socialist, communist-leaning enemies of life and freedom. Joe Biden, by comparison, looks like a moderate. And he can make that pitch. I was talking to Dr. Alan Keyes the other day, and he said, Joe Biden is like a smell that you're used to. You know, when you go into a car that's a little dirty or a room in the house that's a little funky, and you smell it, and you're like, oh, that's not quite right, but you're used to it. Joe Biden is the smell that people are used to in the Democrat Party. Now, part of former Vice President Biden's pitch is that he's the one guy that can beat Trump. He's the person that can coalesce the Democrats, raise the money. He's got the experience, doesn't need any on-the-job training. He's ready to go on day one, and he alone can beat President Trump. In June, polling data showed that Biden had an 11-point lead over President Trump. Well, in the past couple of days, a poll came out. This is hysterical. All right, and this is a Politico poll, Morning Consult and Politico poll. Here's what it showed. First of all, Trump now is only trailing by 5%. And by the way, these polls are there strictly for conversation purposes, to talk about momentum, because if they're not weighted accurately, or said differently, if they're weighted inaccurately with too many people from California, too many Democrats, not enough independents, this election is going to come down to Texas, Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, maybe Virginia. That's what this election is going to come down to, okay? So these polls are here for talking points, bragging points, showing momentum, showing movement. Anyway, Vice President Biden was up by 11 points in June. Now he's only up by 5 points. That's a massive collapse in his numbers. But here's what's really interesting. Guess where President Trump is picking up votes? In June, Biden led President Trump by 20 points among women. And now he's lost 9 of those points. Almost half of the women that said they were going to vote for Trump in that gap have switched and are, who said they were going to vote for Biden. They switched and they're going to vote for Trump. So he went from a 20-point lead among women to only 11 points. President Trump is picking up female voters. This is even crazier. Young people, ages 18 to 29, he had a 28-point deficit. President Trump had a 28-point deficit in June among young voters, ages 18 to 29. And he cut it in half in the last 3 months. It's now 14 points. And then the creme de la creme, independents. Biden was up by 11 points in June. He's only up by 1 point right now. And a lot of prognosticators insist that independents are going to decide who the next president is because of the disgust and frustration that many people have, myself included, with the 2 major parties. More and more people are registering as independents, and they relish it. They're going to vote for who they want to. They're going to split their ticket. They're not going to just go in and vote party line. They're going to vote Republican here, Democrat there, Republican here, independent there, third party candidate there. And President Trump has brought the independent voting crowd to a statistical dead heat. Joe Biden had an 11-point lead with the independents, and now 1%, which is effectively inside the margin of error. That means that President Trump, in spite of all of the stuff that the Democrats are doing, all the lies, the witch hunts, the bad press, the 90% of the secular media coverage that is anti-Trump, President Trump is gaining momentum against the star of their team, Joe Biden. The Democrats have got to be quaking in their boots. Oh, I know what they're going to do. They're going to continue a false narrative about impeachment. I'm going to take a break. We'll talk about that, al-Baghdadi, and some things that we can do. Please don't go away.
I also want to speak tonight directly to Muslims throughout the world. We respect your faith. Its teachings are good and peaceful. And those who commit evil in the name of Allah blaspheme the name of Allah.
We have reaffirmed again and again that the United States is not and never will be at war with Islam. Islam teaches peace.
Islam is a religion of peace. They are not Muslims, they are monsters.
We've been told that Muslim terrorists have hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam. But Islamic art and literature tell a very different story. To know the truth, we only have to study the narrative of the founder of Islam, Muhammad, in his own words. Welcome back, friend. Maybe we could call on Time magazine to do a posthumous declaration that Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the terrorist leader of ISIS, was man of the year. I mean, they did it for Hitler. I think it was 1936 on the cover of Time magazine, Adolf Hitler was man of the year. I mean, because he had great economic policies, built some great roads, helped Germany get out of a depression. That was before, he turned out to be a mass murderer. But I digress. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, now heralded by the Washington Post as a religious scholar, an austere religious scholar. Maybe Time magazine could step in and just make it official. We honor this man that took a ragtag group of poorly armed and poorly trained terrorists and created the caliphate and the Islamic State, and took a massive portion of land from Syria and from Iraq and trained soldiers in Libya and captured the attention of the world as they fought for the justice of humanity as outlined by Muhammad, the founder of Islam, and Sharia law. which his model and his example birthed. It's disgusting. It's offensive, of course. But that's what the left is trying to do. They just can't praise President Trump. Now they're complaining because President Trump said he died like a dog. He was whimpering and running. There's media trying to get the Pentagon to discuss, was there audio? How do we know he was crying? Is President Trump lying? Then there's people criticizing President Trump because he wasn't presidential, like Barack Obama, who said that they were not abusing the remains of Osama bin Laden. President Trump can't do anything right with these people. The ability to at least give credit where credit is due shows that a person is thinking sanely. Give the devil his due. The left, they're so godless, many of them, they can't even do that. We're in trouble. By the way, now Nancy Pelosi is codifying the witch hunt. If you read the proposed legislation that Congress, the majority of the Democrats are presumed to sign onto for the impeachment inquiry, it doesn't delineate anything that he's done wrong, and it names a half a dozen congressional subcommittees or congressional committees with carte blanche to search and look and see if they can find anything that might impeach President Trump. Anybody, any whistleblowers here? Anybody with a story about the president? We need another headline for today and tomorrow and the day after that. We'll line you up. We'll tell you when to release your shot. Come, all of you committees, keep going forward. Read the proposed resolution. It stinks. And they say, well, we're giving permission to the minority leader of each of these committees to issue subpoenas. Nah, not really. He has to get the approval of the chair. And if the chair says no, then he has to have the whole committee vote on whether or not he should be allowed to get a subpoena. So they have to come groveling to the Democrats every time. And do you really think the majority of Democrats on any given committee are going to defy the leader of their committee and defy Nancy Pelosi's witch hunt? It's a scam. The whole thing is a scam. I want to step back for 1 second. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, heralded by the Washington Post as an austere religious scholar, was in fact a religious scholar. Now, he was also a rapist and a murderer. But the reason he was a rapist and a murderer, by Western standards, by Christian standards, the reason we call him a rapist and a murderer is because of what he did, right? His actions. And he took those actions precisely because he was a religious scholar. He spent hundreds, probably thousands of hours poring over the details of the life of Muhammad, the founder of Islam. And he studied Muhammad having the sex slave, Rayhana. He studied Muhammad having the sex slave, the Coptic Christian, Maria. And he said, if Muhammad can have a sex slave, 2 sex slaves, so can I. If Muhammad can order heads to be cut off of captives, so can I. I'm studying the life of Muhammad here, guys. Look at what he did to these women. Let's do it too. Let's imitate the example of the founder of our religion. I've got it right here, guys, chapter and verse in Sahih Bukhari and in Sahih Muslim. And here's the passage in the Quran where it talks about that we can have sex with anyone who our right hand possesses. And it's not rape. It's not a crime, guys. This is the gift of Allah to us. He was a religious scholar, committing crimes not by Muslim standards. What he was doing by Muslim standards, by the standards of his religious study and his scholasticism, what he was doing was a right bequeathed to him from Allah because he was a jihadist, because he was in jihad, holy war. Now, if you want to learn about this, I am begging you for your sake, go to the phone and call 1-877-851-WORD. Make a $50 contribution and I will send you the movie, Muhammad in His Own Words. I will send you the 20-part 4-DVD college-level course on Islam called What Would Muhammad Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained. I will send you the 9-part series on the Muslim Brotherhood. This is more research in these TV series and movies, documentaries, than anyone has ever done. And that has been told to me repeatedly by experts in the field of Islam. No one's ever done what we've done. And I'm offering to you for $50 to get all that. And we'll throw in the Norma McCorvey video, A Cold Day in Hell. You can go right now to my website, randallterry.com. Right at the top of the page, click the button. No shipping, no handling. This is just a gift. It's a gift of $50. And if you can't afford $50, call the 877 number, 877-851-WORD, and say, look, I was watching Randall, and he said, if you can't afford it, give what you can afford, and we'll send it to you. Done. And if you just want the 90-minute movie, Muhammad in His Own Words, tell them that. Done. We need you to get this information so you can know what's going on and you can share it with others. Your pastor, your chief of police, your priest, your fire chief, your neighbor, the elder at your prayer group. In this situation, you know the truth and the truth will set you free, and it might just keep you free. I'll be right back. Don't go away. What Would Muhammad Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained is the best movie series documentary ever produced on the life of Muhammad and Islam. How do I know? Because it's what critics are saying. John Moore, radio host and author, said, I learned more from What Would Muhammad Do about Islam and Islamic terrorism than I've learned from everything I ever read and watched in my entire life. Best-selling author Dr. Bill Warner said, What Would Muhammad Do is the best movie series, TV production on the life of Muhammad and Islamic terrorism that has ever been produced. Friends, this is what the experts are saying. No one has ever done what we've done. I encourage you to get 1, 2, 4 copies. Call 304-289-3700. That's 304-289-3700, or order it at the address or the website that you see on the screen. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com. Edmund Burke said that all that is necessary for evil to triumph is that good men do nothing. Now, interestingly, Edmund Burke said that to his fellow British parliamentarians regarding the colonists in America. He was calling us, the Americans, the revolutionaries, the evil. He said, all you need to do to let evil triumph, in other words, the revolution of the 13 colonies, all you need to do to let evil triumph is to do nothing. But the content of that phrase is worth quoting. We can see that there is a witch hunt underway against President Trump, and people were talking about impeaching him the day after the election. Nearly 3 years ago, before he'd even been in office, they were talking about impeaching him. He has endured so much. He has faced more hardship as a president than any president that I know of in history, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. We have a duty to support him, to pray for him, and to lift up our voice. You can do something. You can be heard. At the water cooler, at the family reunion, at work, wherever. Your voice can make a difference. We just have to swallow our pride, take up our cross, and be willing to get a little bit of ridicule for standing up for President Trump. Pray for us. We'll be in Tupelo tomorrow. And please go to our website and get those films. You can help yourself with the films, and you can help us with a contribution, which we desperately need right now. God bless you.